What's up, guys? Welcome back from New York City. You're watching WCS America Challenger League. I'm axeltoss, joined by axslav. Before we proceed with the evening of amazing StarCraft 2, quick plug, youtube.com/official MLGSC2 is your source for anything related to WCS America. Of course, anything you see on stream here from the MLG studio will be there in 1080p HD, usually within 24 hours. A lot of the time within like 3 hours. But great source there if you know, it's late at night and you can't find any live content and you want some StarCraft to watch. Check out youtube.com/official MLGSC2, and if you want, you can subscribe.
If you don't want, you can still subscribe. It takes like one click. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Nick's gonna guess all your passwords and subscribe for you. Nick's pretty smart. He can probably do that. You have one of those supercomputers that can identify that. But here's what happened so far today. Minigun with a 2 over top, advancing himself to the winner's match, which is coming up next. State with a 2-0 over Xenocider, and both of the guys winning pretty darn convincingly. So it sets up quite the stage for this winner's match. They're currently doing the Betos. State versus Minigun. One of them is going to qualify for WCS America Premier League Season 2.
And this is going to be a very, very interesting match because they actually played in STARCRAFT America. And State took down Minigun.
Oh, he destroyed him.
Yeah, I mean, it was...
Or did he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think I remember it being pretty one-sided.
3-0,
But Minigun has been playing League of Legends, so we have to remember that.
You know, if it comes to a situation where the crucial unit is one Void Ray,
yes,
then Minigun will do well. But
See?
I mean, I'll joke my League of Legends aside. Minigun showed some amazing games against Top, and Top is not a player to be taken lightly. These Chinese guys, like players like Top, I mean, he plays at a GM level in the career ladder, or somewhere in that zone. I mean, pretty much all these top Chinese players are insanely gifted, and people don't realize about them. So Minigun taking on Top 2-0 in a convincing fashion shows he's really on his game, and more importantly, he's on his PvP game.
Absolutely. Of course, State just played a PvT. We have no idea where his PvP stands, but it looks like I'm getting the invite to the game, so we're going to be starting fairly soon. Minigun versus State, Root versus Gamefront. Of course, State is currently teamless. He's personally sponsored by Gamefront. Sets us up for a pretty nice winner's match between two of the probably top North American Protoss players. I
mean, definitely so. If you talk about North American Protoss players, you know, everyone first would think of Huck, probably naturally. But then your mind would go to these guys, State, Minigun, I mean, along with maybe In Control and a couple others. But two of the very best from the Americas. Both these players were in the Premier League in Season 1. And both these guys really want to be in the Premier League in Season 2. In fact, if you're talking about American Protoss players, the only one currently in Season 2 of WCS America is Huck.
Oh, that's true.
He's the only American Protoss player. Oh, no, Puck. Sorry.
Puck.
Puck
has to be considered up there, too, as far as American Protoss. Absolutely. Being in the Premier League Season 2.
But those two are the only American from the Americas, North and South America. Sure. They're the only two Protoss players from the Americas in Premier League Season 2. One of these guys will join them.
Yes.
And we're going to find out which one right here.
Absolutely. Right? It could either be your Protoss player in the top left-hand location in the red, representing Gamefront. He is State. Or State took out, in his last match, Xenocider, 2-0. Favorite Pokemon is Pink Pikachu.
It's important to know.
What's your favorite Pokemon? Can you name a Pokemon other than Pikachu? axslav. Putting you on the spot.
Charizard? Is that a Pokemon?
You're close. There's a D at the end. Charizard.
Oh, Squirtle!
Yes. See, you know that. You only know that because Squirtle's a StarCraft player. A Pokemon that's not a StarCraft player.
Dragonzoid. Is it
in the bottom right-hand location, I present to you your blue Protoss player from Team Root. He is Minigun. What are we going to do about this, Nick? Middle name is Richard. Not a lot of people know that, actually. Middle name is, in fact, Richard. Of course, has a lot of nerve issues at live events.
And, you know, that Time Warp, he put that on his Nexus. Remember, I mean,
I asked him about that.
What would he say?
He's like, T and F are too darn close together, man.
Oh. I mean, but so it is true. It's an understandable mistake, but it is a mistake that may be attributed to nerves a bit because you're more likely to have your fingers slip a bit, slightly miss a key if you're nervous. And that is a mistake that, like, if you watch his stream, he probably almost never makes. It's a very rare mistake to make. It happens. We've seen top players have it happen to before. But those type of misclick mistakes happen more and more as you get nervous. So that's something you have to look out for. How big a factor nervous play is there in this winners match where the winner goes through to season 2.
It's pretty interesting though. Minigun has been getting a lot more experience in the live stage, right? What was that trip he made? Was it? He went to the last MLG.
Yes.
Because he beat Idra, 3-0. I think it was.
Yes. 3-0
to qualify for that tournament. So that's a good amount of experience there. And now he's getting this experience in these very important online matches, and he thrives in the online matches, right? He is a ladder warrior. He's in a comfortable setting at his computer at home, playing these games, and he's going to be at MLG Anaheim. Actually, both these players are going to be at MLG Anaheim. So if you're at MLG Anaheim trying to track these guys down, give them a high five because they're both really awesome dudes. Have a conversation with these guys. But two guys who could make deep runs at Anaheim too. But right now, all they're thinking about is making it to Premier League of WCS America Season 2.
Both the players scouting out each other, trying to see if anything funny's going on. There's a lot of chrono boost saved. There's you only see like a single pylon, or they can't find a third pylon in their opponent's base that can clue them off. If you don't see chrono boost saved, you're not too worried. But if you see a lot of chrono boost saved, the next thing to look for is pylons. Because one of the reasons it's a build that used to be popular, it's lost in popularity. One of the reasons people save chrono boost is to do a proxy oracle build, and then there'd also be a pylon missing as well as chrono boost saved. Both players expanding to 1-gate expansions.
Yeah, very fast next side. Of course, there's a lot of logic behind this on a map like this. You got a high ground ramp. You got a high ground over a ramp at your natural expansion. Once the Nexus finishes, you're going to have Photon overcharge. If you think your opponent's being super crazy aggressive, you can always cancel the Nexus, kind of a thing. So not too unusual to see this. And it's interesting that they're both doing it, which kind of says a little bit about their styles. And maybe they've played each other a lot, right? Maybe they recognize this happens a bit. And the probe gonna scout. That's a great scout.
Oh, it is.
He's gonna die, but
I mean, just seen a Nexus, and now let's see. Can State's probe scout the Nexus? No.
He didn't even try. He was gonna go in toward the ramp there.
He saw 2 sentries and a Zealot at that ramp. It might give it away. But the really cool thing about if you scout your opponent's Nexus, so when you fast expand yourself, you're insanely paranoid. Like, any Protoss player that's a 1-gate expansion, they're like, am I going to be blink going? Is it DT? Is it an Oracle going to pop up my main? And so when you see your opponent expanding, you're like, okay, I'm just going to start chrono boosting probes out. And that's exactly, Minigun's already chrono boosting probes out. It's exactly the perfect response. Scouting his opponent to see if it's Stargate, follow up a Robo or DT or Mass Gateway, which you do sometimes see a Mass Gateway type of attack.
Yeah, both these guys sending those hallucinated Phoenixes right now.
Yeah, and that's so important because in PvP, it's with warp gates and ability to reinforce right your opponent's doorstep, there's so many timings that can really catch you off guard. And what's actually significant is the cost of building probes. If you build 8 probes, that's 400 minerals. And if your opponent hits you right then, you have 400 minerals less in units. That can be sometimes a big deal. Now, Photon Overcharge is not quite as big as it was in Wings of Liberty, but the idea is still there that each probe is so important, and you ideally want to chrono boost probes if there's no threat, but you have to identify that there is no threat in order to maximize that economic investiture.
State with a fairly quick Twilight count. I don't think Minigun did Minigun scout that with his hallucinates. Oh, he's sending another one.
You can see. No.
Okay, so he's about to scout it though.
Yeah, he is. And that's cool. And Minigun's going to be happy. And whenever you go for a Colossi, scout Twilight Council tech, you're happy. Because Colossi do pretty well against Gibby.
Sees the Dark Shrine.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a good thing it's a pylon.
I mean, there's 2 things. He obviously does. Yeah. Even if he didn't, though, a good player like Minigun can identify that the Twilight Council wasn't researching anything immediately.
Sure.
And nobody gets a Twilight Council and doesn't immediately reach something unless you're going Dark Shrine.
Unless you want to fake that you're going Dark Shrine.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, it could be something like that. Either way, he knows it's there. He's going to be getting the observers, making sure he's totally safe against that. And with the availability to go straight to Colossus right here, Minigun's going to have a nice compositional advantage. But State, with Blink, with the greater gateway count, is going to have a mobility advantage.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting kind of duel of, the hammer versus the whip, I guess. One's a little more flexible, can attack from multiple angles. Hammer's a little bit stronger, though.
I think I'd rather have a whip than a hammer.
Yeah?
Unless it's a zombie apocalypse, I'd rather have a hammer.
You know,
Very
Bruce
important
Lee.
distinction.
Bruce Lee liked the flexible weapons.
Yes.
Yeah. He said, you know, like a willow switch is better than a bow staff.
Is that what he said? What if the bow staff was magical and let you use spells like in Harry Potter?
Well, then you know that's a whole nother world. It's a whole nother world.
Okay. Because then I'd rather have a bow staff. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's not even a question.
No, it's not a question at all.
Do you know a Harry Potter spell?
No.
Nick, you're killing me today, man.
Wait.
I gotta
got
culture you with the 90s.
I've got one. Hold on a second. What's the one that you kill? I don't. I'm sorry.
Avada Kedavra.
Yes, that's the one I was looking for. I was gonna say that. I just didn't.
Do you know
say it.
Expelliarmus? State poking up a little bit.
You know.
Lumos? Do you know what Lumos is?
That makes it light, obviously, right?
Wow, nice.
Yeah, I mean that's
Well played.
That's just basic.
Well played. It's basic Harry Potter lore, axeltoss. Jeez, what's wrong with you? Stalkers continue to poke forward here from State.
And he can do this because he has Blink. And the War Prism, DT, there is a cannon though. Minigun knowing this is the possibility is a cannon in his main base, so he's gonna be fine. And one thing important to note is how immediately Minigun went to a third base. And he knows it because he knows he doesn't have mobility, so he doesn't want to he can't move on the map too well. But he does have a stronger army, so he's fine taking a third base. State, as soon as he identified Minigun, okay, staying at third base, now I have to as well because I can't overpower his third.
Right.
Let's take my own third.
Yeah.
And he's going into a Stargate, which is going to be very interesting because Minigun's going double Robos. He's going to have a very big Colossi count.
And potentially Mortals, right?
Exactly. I mean, I think he's just going to focus on Colossi.
I agree.
At least until he gets like 6, 7 of them.
Oh, one Stalker misclicking the blink.
Yeah,
Can he get away alive? I think he's dead.
Yeah, I mean...
Watch him topple off the cliff. Doesn't topple off the cliff. Yeah, interesting Stargate edition. You can slowly add Voiders to your composition, of course. You know, when you put down the Stargate, you don't want an engagement anytime soon because you want to be able to get that, you know, the meaty Stargates out. Oh, he's going to have Fleet Beacon. So Tempest are going to be huge against Colossi.
I think he has to as well. I mean, early on, everyone was massing Void Rays. And if you get up a ton of Void Rays, yes, they do well. But a mixed Gateway Colossi army versus a mixed Gateway Voider army, the Colossi army usually comes out on top because you can warp in so many reinforcing Archons and Stalkers. And those battles often come to... Ooh.
I think there's a DT drop at the back there.
And the DT actually just landed again.
He's chilling.
So Minigun's going to want to build a... Take it out.
Cannon stuff.
Yeah, he's going to want to build a cannon there and be safe.
Now, State kind of has to
so
do this.
annoying here.
He's behind in supply. And he wants to keep his opponent. Yeah, he wants to keep his opponent at home while he gets the Tempest out. Because once those Tempests get out, he's going to be a happy camper. Now
he's investing in upgrades like a maniac too. Look at that, 1-1 done, 2-2 on the way.
Charge lots are going to be great, especially if you get a nice concave. There are ways to do that and counterattack as the game goes along.
And he has the War Prism. State knows that okay, my opponent attacks me now with a bunch of Colossi.
Oh my gosh! Stalkers, what are you doing?
You know, a couple more. Oh, he loses Observer too.
Yeah. So he tried to blink out, but he
Yeah,
misclicked. And that happens. And that's pretty important. Again, the Stalkers are what's keeping your opponent at home. Because it's cautious the counterattacks. Now, with the Stalker threat gone, and this Stalker definitely going to die. With the Stalker threat gone, who's to say Minigun won't push across the map here?
I mean, you're still a War Prism threat, but Minigun's on top of it. He's got Observer. In fact, the War Prism is under fire here. If that goes down, that's State's only counterattacking option. Ooh, I
would blink out in the air and try to get the kill with my last shot as I fall to my death.
You would be a very brave and noble Stalker.
I'd want to kill that War Prism.
But now Minigun knows he might have a timing now, and this is the situation: is can the Tempest take down the Colossi before the Colossi take out all the Zealots? Because if State loses his Zealots,
he's identified the Tempest, right? Because State, being a ninja, there trying to keep those Tempests back. He doesn't want those Phoenixes to be seen. Minigun does Minigun blink? I assume
he does not have blink.
Okay. Because like at this point, the obvious question is how are you going to deal with the Tempest, right? Blink is going to help a bunch.
It is. I mean, pure Stalkers if you can kill the ground army.
He can recall out.
This Nexus is done. Yeah, he can easily recall it if he wants to. Where he can play.
Look at how fast that Colossus.
You just kill the probes. Why recall early, right?
5 shots, and the Colossus is dead. So the Tempest. Force going down.
A great trade though. I mean, he killed.
Yeah, the Nexus, a lot of probes.
A lot of probes, exactly. And
great move there for Minigun.
And now Minigun can, even if he wants, he can go double Stargate himself. In the open, he's going to just destroy the army because it's so Zealot.
Oh, the Tempest overextending. You got to be so careful. The Stalker's targeting those guys down and State backing him up. Time won't go down, trying to delay this as long as possible. Minigun is comfortable making trades here. Again, he has a dramatic supply advantage. He has a dramatic economic lead. Throwing down the Time Warps. A War Prism is here to warp in more units to reinforce. And Minigun might just try to win right here, right now. State trying to target fire the Colossi. The Stalker's trying to muscle the way forward toward the Tempest. Minigun has to be careful not to take too cost-efficient of a trade, and he's going to back away. And I feel like State might just have to warp in and go at this point. No, he is getting a third behind this, so he might play a little bit more passively.
It's so hard to attack with Tempest because in the open they get a lot weaker. And one of the situations is, yes, Tempest kill Colossi fast, but Colossi kills Zealots so fast, and whoever has the more Zealots will win that ground war. Nice counterattack by State if he can stop the Void Rays from coming out.
Yeah,
that's essential.
He's opening units in his opponent's main, targeting down the Stargates. That's huge. And this is a situation where Minigun's investing a lot into making these targets also a counterattack in State's third base. Zealot's chopping up some Zealots in that situation. Yeah, it's chopping up that Nexus.
Oh, but a natural Minigun is under fire.
Is there a yeah, there is a militia core here, so he can recall if he needs to, but Minigun is definitely going to spread out apart, and State needs to do this. Remember, he lost that Nexus. He is at a deficit in this game, both in supply, pretty much in every aspect. So he has to do this hyper-mobile stuff, but with the Tempest across the map, they are going to be a little bit more vulnerable. Time War perfectly placed on the ramp there, trying to target down the Stalker, but the Void Rays going to target down the Tempest. Great control there from Minigun, and he should be able to shove away this push.
And that's big. I mean, State can't even retreat. His units are going to be slow. A very, very tough situation for State. All he has left is Immortals. He's trying to counterattack it in the main with some DT warp pins, but there's a cannon to defend the most important aspect of the main, which is, of course, the economy. Absolutely.
Right in that mineral line, the DT going to try to start, again, slicing that. Slice and dice and that up. We got State with a little bit of a reinforcement of chargeless. If he can get up close to those Colossi, that's huge. He's just going to counter. I
think Minigun has just too many units. There's 3 Colossi and there's enough support units as well, but 2 Colossi getting caught off guard there.
Yeah, it'd be a great pick-off if he can get those.
If he can, he might get
he
one.
Be able to, yeah.
No, Minigun, okay, Minigun's got a couple of zone units in the front there. A lot of Archons from State.
These charges, wow, there's nothing really here that's like actually that good against Zealots. Like Immortals, Colossi, obviously, but you got to have something in front of those
Exactly, yeah. It's all about that meat shield.
God, that Warp Push is still alive.
But
no,
now we're in a situation where State's pulled a lot of cool moves, harass moves, but it's 3 basic 2. And State lost his army. So that's not a situation you want to be at. The income from Minigun is so much higher. Minigun still has 2 Stargates, so he has 2 Stargates, he has 2 Robos. It's like the Noah's Ark of, well, actually he lost 1 Robo, so never mind. He only has 1 Robo, but I don't think he already has a couple Colossi out. He can build whatever he wants, and he has better economy. The third estate just now rebuilt. 2 Zealots coming in there to bother it a little bit of a harass.
So as it stands, Minigun, clearly has an advantage. You know, over the past 9 minutes, things have really been going his way, trying to get a good Void Ray comp on the field, but if there's anything that can bring State back, it's ridiculous Storm play. And we saw how good it was in his series versus Xenocider. So Storm is about halfway done. I'm not sure if Minigun is aware of this. It's something he might be able to guess, because whenever you're in a PvP in your head, you start thinking about, okay, how can I get behind? First option, Dark Templar. Right. The second, it's usually going to be the expensive high-tech stuff that can be really cost-efficient. That brings you back into PvP. That brings you back in any matchup, like Infestors, Medivacs, Ghosts, etc. So, Minigun has to be very careful when going for straight-up engagements because Storm is about to finish. And if all this stuff is clumped together, again, that is a nice provision for State to try to get back in this game.
State's going to need some monster storms because he's down by 40 food. It's very smart of him to go for side storm. I mean, he knows he has the Stargate, right? But he's like, if I just make air, he makes air. Yeah. He has more economy. He'll outproduce me.
Yep.
And same thing if he tried to go into Colossi. So it's very intelligent of State to go for that side storm. It's, you know, the DTs, obviously Minigun's been dealing with them all game, so he's going to be ready for him.
Right.
So High Templar is the next bet to try to make a comeback. Now, what it's going to come down to is State's going to be defensive. The longer the game goes on, the better chance he has to catch back up as once, if they can both max out, the max versus max situation, anything can happen. So, State's going to, actually, he's attacking now. This is a very interesting move because in the open, he's so much weaker.
If his opponent's on a ramp, though, and he storms as it comes down the ramp, it's great, right? Because it's kind of like force fields where you can keep your opponent back, you can peel away and send units toward that fourth base, deny that, right? So I think that's going for State here. But it's just his army's not that meaty, so he has to be very careful. He doesn't want to take a straight-up engagement. He has to get money storms off if he wants a chance in this game.
And if he can stay passive and get to a 200 food army, he'll actually be in a good shape to an engagement. But right now, it's only 150 food to 180. And it looks like he wants to engage right into open here. He's got a good unit spread, but that's actually going to work against him because as he spreads his units, Minigun's units will spread against him, and the storms will be less effective.
And all Minigun is worrying about is protecting this fourth. Like, he doesn't necessarily want an engagement, but here we go. State coming forward with all these charges, Archons, and Immortals. Can he make this happen? Time Warp going down as well. The Storm's blanketing across this Protoss unit here from Minigun. Minigun needs to kite away this Colossus, but look at all these charge loss from State trying to make this happen. Remember, his opponent's force has not yet kicked in, so if State can get a convincing engagement, he could theoretically win this game, but the Void Rays overhead still very much alive. State reinforcing with a bunch of Stalkers, trying to blink forward, but those are going to get targeted down by the Void Rays, and Minigun should be able to win this engagement. He's up 114 to 77 in supply, and State is unable to make this work.
Oh man, State did a great job there to keep Time Warp on the Colossi, and Minigun just didn't have quite enough beat for the Colossi, but the Void Rays in air really just carried the day there. 50 food ahead. State's army has been totally routed. He's trying to resupply here, but now Minigun's the one who's soon going to have Storm. He's rebuilding the Colossi. He's got a lot of Zealots on the field as well.
Gosh, State's economy not so good at all. And again, Minigun, has the 4 bases. I think the mains are mined out at this point, are very close to it. Wow, State actually getting a base up there on the middle left. I didn't see that. So State kind of replenishing that economy as well.
Another engagement, but he's going to be slaughtered here. Minigun just has way more units.
There's no storms either, so I'm trying to think about something to deal with the Void Rays.
Archons are very good. I think he feels that if he waits, things will get worse for him, and so he wants to keep the pressure up right now.
Yeah.
Which, it may not be entirely correct, but it is true that if Minigun invests in too much at once, if he tries to do too much crazy at once, maybe he tries to invest in a whole lot of extra Colossi.
He's a carrier on the way.
Yeah. The carry is actually really smart. There's only one reason to ever get a carry in PvP, and it's if you're only worried about the Archons as the biggest threat.
Right.
Because obviously Tempests are bad against pretty much everything on the ground, as far as PvP is concerned, except for Colossi. But normally you get carries for the range advantage. Tempests are much better than that, so you don't get carries for range. What you get them for is literally just Archons. Right. Void Rays are much better against Stalkers. Void Rays are better at actually killing Archons, even though they're not armored. It's just the carry damage is so low. But what carriers are really good at is the Interceptors tank damage so well, and Archons do a lot of damage, but they don't attack super fast, and so if they're busy attacking Interceptors, they get confused. You can really just negate almost entirely the Archons. And the counter to that is to have each Archon micro a tunnel attack a certain unit. But in a big battle, you have 5, 6, 7 Archons. It's very hard to get them all attacking units because you can't focus fire because they don't have the range. Don't focus fire the same unit. So it's really, really smart to add in just 1 or 2 carriers against an Archon heavy opponent.
Minigun is playing like super patiently. He's had a supply lead for a good amount of time. He's trying to get up the space at the top right location, and it looks like he's going to be able to, but refusing to really cross the map and try to really kill his opponent. Nice little pylon there leading to their base. Stalkers want blink, not going to get it. But yeah, I mean, if Minigun waits too long, it could get a little bit dangerous, I feel.
Yeah, if State maxes out,
anything can happen. Yeah,
it's anyone's game.
Absolutely.
So that's why I think Minigun's moving across the map right now. He does have proxy pylon being set up. He's like, you know what, I'm maxed. I'm ahead. He's probably not maxed.
Yeah.
If I engage right now, I'll have a bigger army.
Yeah, that's a lot of charge lines.
A bigger army is obviously going to be great. He's got
plenty of High Templars for Minigun.
Minigun's got a lot of everything, man.
He's got a crazy good unit composition. This is a unit composition that's good in any matchup. And here we go. Minigun coming forward. The storms go down for both of these 2 players. Minigun trying to kite back, trying to draw his opponent's zealots into his own storms. Double time warp going down. Brilliant time warps there from Minigun. Now State is forced to engage. The Void Rays activating prismatic alignment, targeting down those Archons. The Colossi trying to kite backwards. And Minigun reinforcing with more and more zealots. There's the GG. Minigun takes game number 1 of this winner's match, which means he is 1 win away from advancing to Premier League Season 2. Wow. Minigun seems to be on fire today.
Yeah, and that was a great win for him. I mean, State is a monster PvP. State destroyed him in STARCRAFT America.
Yeah.
So coming back here in game 1, Minigun saying, you know what? I'm not outclassed by you. I can take you on.
Yeah.
And just
in a late game too, like having the confidence to go for the fast expand, playing very patient, taking more and more bases. Not like he's going for some sort of 1 base push, 1 base all in. Not like he's going for some 2 base all in. Playing very patient, very defensive, getting his bases up, and correctly identifying what his opponent is doing and making the appropriate reaction to what his opponent is doing. Now, I'm trying to think of the biggest momentum switch in that game. I feel like State's DT play and Minigun scouting it, that's a pretty big thing.
It was, and also, State tried to go to Tempest very fast.
Yeah.
And Minigun found a timing when State didn't have State never had a way to kill Minigun Zealots.
Right.
Because he spent his early money on Tempest, and Minigun just came in and killed the 3rd, and State couldn't defend it.
Yeah.
And then Minigun was just pretty significantly ahead when he killed the 3rd. State tried to counterattack.
Yeah.
And the counterattack was decent, but he couldn't kill any of the bases.
That's a good point.
And each base is so important if you only have 3.
Yeah, I mean, that push when he killed the third, that was actually pretty huge there for Minigun. But really good game. Really good game there in game number 1 between Minigun and State. Again, 2 of your top North American Pro Toss players. As we see a little bit of a replay
He kills
here.
the third again, actually. That's huge, too.
Yeah.
While State was counterattacking, so he killed the third, State counterattacked. He kills the third again.
Yes.
And that means State's playing on 2 basic economies such a long time. And if State could have killed some of these Nexuses,
Right.
it might have been different. But
He
Minigun,
was unable to.
yeah, he looked like he was on the back foot, but he preserved the key units and he pushed State back. And in fact, he won that battle convincingly as well. I mean,
Yeah.
State lost his whole army in that counterattack.
All right, guys, Minigun currently up 1-0 in this best of 3, poised to take a spot in WCS America Premier League next season. We'll see if State can win 2 in a row. Coming up next, it's game 2 between State and Minigun. Stay tuned.